divine revelation, 3 miraculous signs to remain faithful and unlock supernatural healing for them. In the quaint English village of St. Jude's Hollow, the morning dawn would often break with the promise of miracles. A little chapel stood serenely at the heart of the village, where the faithful gathered, seeking divine intercession and solace. Just days ago, the air was thick with an unshakable tranquility. Now, the shadow of an illness swept through the homes like an ominous fog, wreaking havoc on every family, embroiling the village in fear and desperation. Sarah, a devoted mother of 2, was a beacon of light in the thickening darkness. Every night, she led prayers in the ancient chapel, the flickering candlelight casting dancing shadows across the anxious faces of her neighbors. "Keep your hearts open," she urged, her voice unwavering, even as her own mind wrestled with doubt. On one particularly grim evening, an elderly parishioner, worn and weak, rose to share a vision and message from St. Jude himself. "Hold fast," he said, his voice shaky yet filled with conviction. "Together, we shall shield ourselves with faith." A wave of hope surged. Unheard murmurs filled the chapel. Spirits began to lift, and the weight of despair lifted ever so slightly. Yet, the illness tightened its grip. Families fell silent. Hospitals turned away patients as care became a fleeting dream. Sarah faced an agonizing twist of fate. Should she continue to trust in a broken system or cling to faith in the divine? "Let me tell you something important," she spoke to her trembling neighbors. "Click that bell and mark all notifications for prayers and discussions, because we must stay connected now more than ever. And please, let me know where you're from in the comments. We are all in this together." The words hung like a sweet promise in the A.S. nights wore on. Sarah's encounter with the village priest transformed her heart. He recounted tales moments when the sick became whole again, when the power of divine healing had touched the unsuspecting with a warm glow. With each story, Sarah's heart quickened. The flicker of hope within her reignited. The day arrived for their climactic prayer vigil, where Sarah's heart raced with both excitement and trepidation. As the stars glittered above, and the air crackled with anticipation, a stranger appeared, a figure from beyond the village borders. "I have witnessed miracles," he proclaimed, which sent shivers racing among the gathered villagers. "You have a choice: cling to doubt or leap into the arms of faith." Sarah's soul wrestled within. Then, tears welled as she recalled the luminous faith that had always guided her. Trusting that faith could conquer the shadow of illness, she stepped forward, gathering courage. As dawn broke over St. Jude's Hollow, a miraculous scene unfolded. The chapel rang with laughter as children, once bedridden, leapt from their beds, now vibrant and full of life. Prayers swirled up to heaven, a chorus of gratitude echoing off the ancient stones. But just as jubilance filled their hearts, a profound question hung in the sun-drenched air. Was it faith that healed, or something greater at play? Gathering at the threshold of a new beginning, the villagers had barely scratched the surface of what lay ahead. As the newfound laughter and joy danced through the streets of St. Jude's Hollow, the villagers buzzed with excitement and disbelief. They gathered outside the chapel, cherishing this unexpected miracle, their hearts brimming with gratitude. The fragrance of blooming flowers filled the air, an emblem of rebirth and hope after the longest winter of despair. Among them, Sarah felt a profound shift in her soul. The night of prayer had awakened something mighty. But as she marveled at the joyous faces around her, a whisper of uncertainty echoed within. Had faith alone catalyzed this transformation? Or was it merely stratagem, a fleeting shadow to be lost in the light? Just then, the village priest, Father Matthew, stepped forward, his gray hair glinting in the morning sun. He raised his hands, and silence enveloped the crowd. "Beloved," he began, his voice resonating like a gentle breeze through the pines, "we witness here the power of collective faith. But remember, faith is only the beginning. We must now explore what lies beyond." With these words, murmurs arose among the villagers, hearts beating wildly in vibrant anticipation. They felt drawn towards something deeper, an invitation beckoning them into an adventure of spiritual exploration. Father Matthew continued, "Let's not dwell only in our joy. We must inquire further what has changed within us. Each of you sensed the miraculous. Each of you felt the stirrings of something more profound. Seek not just to hold this gift tightly, but to share it, for miracles thrive on connection." Sarah nodded, pondering his wisdom. The miracle they had just experienced was not solely for them. Her mind slipped back to the elderly parishioner who had shared St. Jude's vision, the unwavering faith that flickered in every prayer. The essence of their collective journey was beginning to unveil itself. Suddenly, a soft voice rose from the crowd. "Let us open our hearts," then said Eleanor, a woman known for her delicate spirit, to those still captive in their fear. "Maybe we can help others step into the light of faith." Agreement rippled through the gathering. With excitement bubbling within, they shared stories, igniting the embers of hope. One by one, they forged a plan, visiting sick neighbors, comforting the grieving, sharing meals and prayers with anyone in need. Their small actions would awaken the spirit of St. Jude, an embodiment of goodwill and healing. As the day unfolded, the villagers dispersed, each driven by an insatiable hunger for new revelations. What had started as a hum of concern blossomed into a chorus of purpose. But amid joyful interactions, Sarah felt the pull of a new mystery waiting patiently in the corners of her heart. Was the healing they received intended to be a spark for something more? Her own curiosity stirred within her, whispering of deeper connections and greater understandings yet to be revealed. Night soon unfurled its velvet cloak over St. Jude's Hollow. Under the dim glow of the stars, Sarah knelt in the chapel with tears in her eyes, feeling the weight of her unspoken questions. "Lord," she whispered fervently, "what comes next? How can I be a vessel for this gift, not only to my family and friends, but to all who suffer?" At that moment, a soft breeze swept through the chapel, rustling the candles and filling her heart with an inexplicable peace. A promise lingered on the air, thick with divine mystery. As Sarah looked up, the stillness enveloped her. Perhaps this was just the beginning. But what if the path ahead held an understanding that could shatter their very foundations of belief? What awaited them in the depths of unwavering faith? A cool mist hung in the air as dawn broke over St. Jude's Hollow, casting a gentle light upon the sleepy village. The promise of a new day was palpable, and Sarah felt a stirring within her, an eagerness that mirrored the soft choir of birds celebrating the rising sun. She rose from her knees, still feeling the weight of her prayers, yet buoyed by a sense of anticipation. As she stepped outside, she noticed clusters of villagers gathering. There was a bustling energy among them, a shared thrill like the flutter of wings. They were uniting in purpose, ready to embody the spirit of their miracle. The laughter and chatter filled the morning, weaving a tapestry of connection. Father Matthew stood in the middle of the square, his wise eyes meeting those of each villager. "Let us join together," he called out, "to share our new light with our brothers and sisters beyond this hollow." His voice rang out like a vibrant bell. With a growing enthusiasm, Sarah approached her fellow villagers, her heart swelling with hope. "We need to visit the old folks down the lane," she suggested. "They must know they are not forgotten, that the light of faith shines upon them too." Nods of agreement echoed around her, and soon a group formed with laughter and intent. Eleanor grabbed Sarah's hand, her delicate fingers trembling with excitement. "And don't forget to take flowers from the garden. Let them see the beauty that blooms anew." The fragrance of blossoms lingered in the air, every petal an encouragement for the weary souls. As they wandered, the group's energy grew infectious. They sang softly, their spirits buoyed as they moved from door to door. The first stop was Mrs. Thompson, a widow who had not left her home in months. As they knocked gently and entered, A spark flickered in the room. The air, once heavy with gloom, turned lighter. "Oh, my dear ones!" Mrs. Thompson cried, tears glistening like dew on her cheeks. She clutched the flowers as if they were a lifeline, a reminder of life beyond her loneliness. "You are like a beam of sunshine. I have felt so lost." With each visit, the villagers felt a rising wave of joy and connection, their acts of kindness resonating throughout their hearts. Stories of hope and laughter echoed against the walls of homes that once felt closed and dark. Each shared meal, every whispered prayer wove a stronger fabric of community. But amid this growing connection, Sarah felt a growing restlessness within her. Was this wonder all there was? As they spoke and shared, her thoughts echoed again with a deeper question. What comes next? She mused quietly to herself. Was there a greater calling hidden beneath these surface interactions? Later that evening, as they gathered under the stars once more, a brilliant light showered down, illuminating them as if heaven decided to touch earth. Sarah gazed upward, aware of a pulse of energy, a beckoning towards something even richer. "Beloved friends," Father Matthew began again, his voice a soothing balm, "this is not merely a fleeting moment of grace. Do you feel it? There is a greater purpose for us. Something divine is emerging, weaving deeper bonds with every act of kindness." As he spoke, Sarah sensed something shifting in the atmosphere. An inexplicable warmth enveloped her, as though she were being drawn towards a revelation. What truth was stirring just beyond the veil? An adventure awaited them, stretching far beyond their small village. What awaited in the deep waters of unwavering faith? As Sarah's heart raced with anticipation, she whispered a silent prayer asking for guidance. Would their faith guide them into a truth that could change everything? As night folded around St. Jude's Hollow, the villagers gathered in a circle, their faces aglow in the moonlight. It was a warm evening. A gentle breeze, carrying the scent of nearby wildflowers, mingled with the warmth of hope. Laughter danced on the air, but for Sarah, a deeper calling flickered beneath the surface of her heart. She could feel it pulling her, urging her to look further into the night. Father Matthew's figure loomed large in the circle as he raised his hands, inviting a moment of stillness. "Let's take this moment to seek what lies beyond our understanding," he encouraged. His tone was filled with conviction, giving all who listened a sense of peace. With eyes closed, Sarah let the silence envelop her. She felt the softness of the earth beneath her feet and the whispers of the wind as it wrapped around her. Time seemed to dissolve, leaving only the rhythmic beat of her heart. As she opened her eyes again, the world felt richer, full of unseen connections that vibrated with divine energy. Tonight, I wish to share the story of 3 miraculous signs, Father Matthew announced, drawing Sarah deeper into focus. Each one reveals the unfathomable love of our Creator and leads us on our journey of faith. The villagers leaned in closer, their expressions shifting from joy to reverence. The first sign arrived to a humble couple, long barren and devoid of hope. One fateful day, while tending their fields, a messenger appeared, proclaiming the impossible. "You shall have a son." Can you imagine their hearts? A miracle was ignited, and so was the promise that God can, indeed, do the unimaginable. A ripple of awe passed through the crowd. Sarah's spirit lifted at the thought. Could miracles be waiting around her, just like that couple? The second sign manifested through a desert wandering of a prophet named Moses. Father Matthew continued, his voice growing strong with conviction. A burning bush spoke to him, revealing a path through darkness. It was a divine beckoning, reminding us to trust that God goes ahead of us, lighting the way in our uncertainties. As he spoke, Sarah felt the warm glow of faith engulf the assembly. They were not just stories, they were seeds, each generating hope, bubbling with the promise of transformation. And finally, Father Matthew proclaimed, the third sign unfolded during a time of despair. A Savior walked among the broken, healing the sick, freeing the captives. In his mere presence, lives were restored. When all hope seemed lost, he reminded them that faith could move mountains. Hope surged within Sarah like a river breaking free. These weren't just tales. They formed a continuum of faith and possibility, each thread weaving through the heart of every villager before her. God speaks, Father Matthew affirmed quietly, creating a sacred hush. And what is he uttering to us now? In our hearts and in our gatherings? We each possess a light, a divine spark, waiting to illuminate the world beyond St. Jude's hollow. But amidst the warmth of hope and the stirring of their hearts, uncertainty lingered. What now? How could they unlock these miracles for themselves? As the assembly dispersed into the night, Sarah found herself lingering behind. The weight of Father Matthew's words hung heavy in the air. With newfound assurance, she thought about their journey ahead. She could sense that the divine was inviting them into a deeper narrative. What will it take to awaken the signs among us? She pondered quietly. A whisper danced through her spirit, a promise of an adventure ahead. With every step she took toward home, Sarah understood that a path awaited, one that could lead them to witness the extraordinary. But what trials would they face as they pursued the delectable treasures of faith? Would their hearts remain steadfast in the light? As dawn broke over St. Jude's hollow, the first rays of sunlight pierced the early mist like golden arrows, igniting a new day filled with promise and possibility. The villagers, refreshed from their night of gathering, woke to a palpable change in the air, a stirring that hinted at impending revelations. Sarah rose early, her heart racing with anticipation. The story shared by Father Matthew resonated deeply within her, leaving her restless for more than just knowledge. She longed for experience. Was it possible that each person in their close-knit village could witness miracles firsthand? She stepped outside, feeling the dew-soft grass beneath her feet and the warmth of the sun on her skin, a gentle reminder that the divine was indeed near, nourishing their hopes. "Hear me," cried a voice from the edge of the village. It was Tom, a villager known for his wild tales and vibrant spirit. He stood atop a wooden crate, energy radiant in his eyes. Father Matthew spoke of miracles last night. Each of us carries the power to transform our lives through faith. Who among us is ready to step into the light? A murmur spread through the crowd, drawing more villagers. Sarah felt a stirring inside her, a profound excitement. What if they could become catalysts of faith, igniting hope and healing together? Tom continued, "Join me. Let us traverse the fields beyond our village, gather and pray, believing that God can speak through our unity." His arms gestured wide, embracing community, inviting everyone to share in the journey. Dreams sprung from his words like newborn flowers reaching for the sun. Possibilities were alive among them. "Tom, what if we fail?" questioned Mary, her brow furrowed with doubt. "What if nothing happens?" The crackle of expectation in the air felt electric. Sarah found her voice rising above the murmurs. "What if we don't? What if we could open ourselves to his miracles? We've been called to believe." Her heart swelled, filled with strength. There was a silence, pregnant with hesitation. But then an echoing cheer burst forth, shattering the shadows of doubt. One by one, villagers joined in agreement, believing anew, fortifying each other toward a journey of faith. They gathered supplies, baskets of bread, jars of water, and their hearts filled with prayers. Together, they ventured out from St. Jude's hollow into the sprawling fields. The sun climbed higher in the sky, blessing their steps as the world around them brightened in promise. As they arrived at a large oak tree standing sentinel over a gentle stream, Tom beckoned everyone to form a circle. They knelt on the soft earth, hands clasped together, voices lifted in prayer. Each word became a sacred thread, weaving them closer to heaven. "Lord, here we are. We seek your presence among us. Reveal yourself in every heartbeat, every breath, every soul." Tom's voice rang out. There was a sincerity in his tone, an expectation that danced through the air. Waves of warmth embraced them, pulsating with divine energy. Sarah felt a shift. It was as if a veil was lifting. Each person's faith was mingling, rising higher, blending into a tapestry of hope. Then, from deep within her spirit, a thought crystallized. This is just the beginning. The miracles we seek may be unfolding before us already. But just as the air filled with sweet anticipation, an uncharacteristic wind whipped through the trees. The branches swayed, almost as if they were responding to an unseen presence. Anxiety crept into Sarah's heart. Would their faith hold against doubt manifesting so violently? The villagers began to shuffle restlessly, murmurs of uncertainty creeping back in. "Stay strong," Tom said, his voice rising over the brewing tempest. "Remember the signs we spoke of. They are for us." And beneath it all, a question loomed within Sarah's heart, glowing like a beacon. Were they ready to confront the storms that threatened to shake their newfound faith? The challenge ahead felt immense. What awaited them in this unfolding journey of faith? Would they witness the miracles they sought, or would doubt bury their hopes like autumn leaves in winter? With courage building inside her, Sarah took a breath, poised on the edge of the unknown, waiting for the divine to reveal what came next. The air hummed with an uneasy tension. Sarah could feel the energy of doubt swirling around them, trying to seep into their hearts. But deep within her, hope ignited a stubborn flame, refusing to extinguish. As the villagers knelt in prayer, Tom kept his gaze steady, his spirit unwavering. Faith is not the absence of doubt, but the courage to believe despite it. His words cut through the anxiety like a lighthouse beam through fog. Encouragement blossomed among the villagers, their faces altering from worry to resolve. As they pressed their palms together, a soft glow began to resonate from the gathering, swirling under the branches of the great oak. Sarah looked around. She could see eyes brightening, hands trembling with anticipation. "Infuse us with strength, Lord." A voice rang out. It was Mary, her heart now steady and her resolve firm. "Help us face this wind with the assurance that you are near." Unseen by most, a flicker of light burst from within the circle, rippling outward and dancing upon the surface of the stream. Symphonies of nature responded, a chorus of rustling leaves, a gentle lapping of water, and birds' jubilant songs soared above. It was as though creation itself joined them in prayer. Then the wind shifted, no longer a tempest, but a whispering breeze, as if the Holy Spirit gently wrapped around them. Sarah's heart soared. It was an embrace that said, "I am with you." In that sacred moment, Tom raised his hands high. "Open your hearts. Let's expect his presence." Slowly, the villagers began to feel the warmth thickening around them, a tapestry woven of faith and desperation for divine intervention. "Lord, bring forth a sign. Reveal your glory." The declaration rallied fervor, voices rising, hands clasped tighter, binding their hopes into one soul. Suddenly, a remarkable sight captivated their attention. A golden beam of light filtered through the canopy of the tree, illuminating a singular spot in the grass beneath them. It felt electric, a spark igniting something deep inside Sarah. It was not just a sign, it was a calling. "Do you see that?" Sarah gasped, her breath caught in her throat. "It's alive." Eyes widened in wonder as the villagers turned toward the shining light. Hope surged through them, threading between every heart. "It feels like healing," Tom murmured, standing transfixed. Despite the whirlwind, they had entered into a sacred space. The light pulsed gently, as if beckoning them closer. "We must step into it," Sarah urged. She felt compelled, heart racing. This is what we waited for. Others began to rise, drawn toward the glow, shuffling forward as though called by an invisible force. As the nearest villager knelt in the light, the energy rippling around them intensified. A hush fell, a sacred moment. "Lord, I ask for healing," she pleaded, tears streaming down her cheeks. The light enveloped her, transforming her despair into radiant joy. Glimmers of awe erupted around the circle, contagious in their wonder. Sarah's heart thrummed wildly. Could this indeed be the miracle we sought? The threads of faith binding them seemed to tighten, uniting as one body, a vibrant collage of love and trust. Yet the wind shifted once more, the light flickered, and shadows danced at the edges of their gathering. Will the darkness prevail? Anxiety clawed at Sarah's mind. Or will we stand steadfast? Determined, she inhaled deeply, anchoring herself in faith. They were at a crossroad. Would they remain rooted, fearless? Or would hesitation scatter their hopes into the void? In that electrifying moment teetering between fear and expectancy, Sarah's heart was filled with divine urgency. We must hold on to our belief. Lord, fortify us against our doubts. And with that fervent plea, she realized they were on the brink of something monumental. The moments ahead promised divine revelation, but what was the cost of their faith? As the light flickered once more, uncertainty loomed clearly, like a distant shore cloaked in mist. Would they embrace whatever was to come, or would they stumble under the weight of their disbelief? The air crackled with questions awaiting answers. Would they witness God's glory unfold before them, or was the storm merely a prelude to a greater test? The golden light pulsed with an inviting warmth that wrapped around Sarah and the villagers like a soft blanket. Each heartbeat echoed with a promise of vivid reminder of hope nestled in their minds. She could feel the anticipation in the air, heavy and electric, as if the universe itself held its breath. As the nearest villager, old Mrs. O'Brien, rose from her knees. The light seemed to dance with her every movement. Tears streamed down her weathered face as the love from the gathering enveloped her. "My heart is lighter," she cried, laughter bubbling forth. "I feel it, the Lord is here." Others nodded in awe. The shadows that had danced around them began to recede, chased away by the burgeoning faith sparking in their hearts. The winds outside seemed to settle, as if recognizing the change that was happening within their circle. "Do not be afraid," Tom called out, his voice a clarion call cutting through the remnants of anxiety clinging to the edges of their souls. "This is your moment." With those stirring words, Sarah felt her spirit rise. She stepped forward, guided by an unseen force. The glow was brighter now, opening a pathway illuminated by his presence. "Lord, we are ready," she shouted into the depths of the light, her voice filled with conviction. The villagers echoed her confidence, lifting their voices in a chorus of prayer, a symphony of belief trumpeting across the air. Each utterance seemed to carry with it collective faith, an offering rising toward heaven. Sarah felt the gathering swell, an unyielding unit forged by shared hope. Then, as if responding, the golden light shifted slightly. A shape formed within it, an outline that flickered and morphed. "What is that?" someone whispered, eyes wide. "I don't know." Sarah relaxed into the moment, sensing an angelic presence dancing within the glow. "But I can feel the love." The villagers were silent, each absorbing the revelation unfolding. The light brightened to a blinding intensity, yet no one shielded their eyes. Instead, they leaned forward, faces alive with expectation, hearts wide open. And within that glorious light, whispers began soft, yet unmistakable, like a gentle breeze rustling through leaves. "I am with you, I hear your cries." Each word felt like a balm over wounds long unhealed. "Stand firm in your faith, my beloved children." Joy erupted among them. Laughter intermingled with the cries, yet with every watched breath, an electrifying energy charged the air. Sarah felt bathed in love and grace, and in that moment, she understood this was not just a sign, but an invitation into deeper communion. But all at once, the light dimmed. A shuddering wind swept through the gathered villagers, as a haunting sensation crept back into the air. Shadows, once banished, twirled at the edges of their sacred space, whispering doubts and fears. "Can we truly hold on?" Sarah thought, clenching her fists. "What if the darkness returns?" A heaviness started to settle at the edges of their faith, but deep within her, a flicker sparked once more. "Lord," she breathed, drawing strength from those around her. We will choose to believe. At her words, the villagers rallied. They joined hands tightly, circling around the light, forming a determined barrier against encroaching shadows. Together, Tom shouted, his spirit like a beacon. Together we stand. The murmurs of doubt softened, replaced by their unwavering resolve. Yes, together, they proclaimed, their voices harmonizing in triumphant crescendo. But would it be enough? Would their collective faith banish the shadows once and for all? As the air thickened with the weight of expectation, they sensed a divine fork ahead. Would they plunge deeper into the light, inviting whatever transformation awaited? Or would they falter, lost in the impending darkness? And the golden light pulsed gently, a rhythm of divine promise. Would they embrace the miracle unfolding, or would they waver under the weight of their fears? The questions hung in the air, inviting them to step forward into the unknown. As the light flickered softly, weaving through the air like a ribbon, Sarah felt the energy shift again. The whispers grew clearer now, wrapping around her heart, igniting her spirit. Prepare your hearts, my children. The time is near. The voice echoed, gentle yet firm, but a wave of peace surged through Sarah, calming the storm of doubt swirling within her. With each heartbeat, she absorbed the warmth of that enchanting glow. She glanced around at the villagers, their faces lit with a blend of awe and trepidation. They were all on this journey together, united in purpose. Do you feel it? Tom's voice broke through the collective silence, resonating with the same hope they felt. The promise is alive. It's stirring among us. Heads nodded, and courage built like a steady drumbeat as they all held hands. Each grasp wove strands of unwavering faith, creating a tapestry of belief that encircled them. Lord, show us the way, Sarah cried out, her voice echoing under the arching sky. We stand before you, ready to embrace your plan. The golden light rippled, casting shimmering reflections across the faces surrounding her, illuminating the rugged lines of worry and pain. In their place blossomed expressions of anticipation, like flowers eager for the sun. Then came a sudden shift. The darkness crept closer, shadowy fingers reaching toward the radiant center of their hope. Heartbeats quickened again, tension whispering in their ears like an unwelcome guest. But then, as if sensing their growing fear, the light expanded, pushing back against the encroaching gloom. Stay strong, Sarah encouraged, her heart racing, echoing the call of faith that swelled within her. Our prayers will shield us. We will not be swayed. The shadows writhed but struggled to penetrate the glow surrounding them. The villagers stood firm, shoulders squared, unwavering. Suddenly, a figure flickered in the light, more defined than before. It took form, a being shining brighter than the sun, magnificent and powerful. The air around them vibrated with an energy that beckoned. Step forward, my children. The voice resonated deeper now, strong and full of authority. Do you wish to receive a sign? Do you seek healing? The collective breath of the villagers hitched in unison, a single gasp echoing through the clearing. They all felt it, the invitation, almost tangible, inviting them deeper into faith. Yes, they shouted, voices filled with fresh resolve, ringing out like a battle cry against the stillness of the night. The air pulsed with purpose, each word an offering, a plea for divine intervention. But Sarah felt a mingling of hope and apprehension. Was it truly possible that healing could be theirs? Could it be that the darkness, which had cast such long shadows over their lives, would finally be vanquished? The figure's light twinkled with joy, illuminating the landscape around them as it took a step toward the circle. Trust in me, your faith is the key. As it spoke, a tranquil warmth flooded Sarah. She found herself stepping closer, drawn irresistibly by an unseen force. Her heart raced as she understood this was their moment, a divine invitation to a deeper truth. The villagers surged forward as one, embraced by the golden light. And in that exhilarating instant, a shimmer of connection enveloped them. Their hearts beat in unison, fear giving way to bold belief. But could their faith sustain them? Would they encounter signs that promised to heal their wounded spirits? With bated breath, they awaited a revelation, longing to discover the truth behind this divine encounter. Sarah's heart swelled with hope. What miraculous change awaited them in this sacred moment? And as the world around them held its breath, the figure's radiant gaze met Sarah's, piercing through her very soul. What would be unveiled in the flickering light? What next step awaited them on this journey of faith? The light pulsed like a heartbeat, and for a moment, time stood still. Sarah could feel the energy thrumming in the air, wrapping around her like a comforting blanket. The being before them radiated power, its presence both soothing and commanding, as if it held the weight of a universe within its luminous form. "Look within yourselves," it urged, its voice echoing like a soothing melody. "What do you seek?" A moment of silence followed, broken only by the soft rustling of leaves. Each villager stood still, their eyes wide, hearts racing. Sarah closed her eyes, searching her own heart. What did she truly seek? Was it healing for herself, for her family, or for the entire village burdened by trials? She could feel the weight of their collective pain, but beneath it, there was also a flicker of hope that refused to be extinguished. When she opened her eyes again, the glow had intensified. "We seek healing," she exclaimed, her voice steady and strong, echoing out into the ethereal night. "We call for renewal." "Yes," the villagers replied in unison, their voices rising like an unstoppable wave. Each shout sent ripples of energy through the group, intertwining their faith in a powerful prayer. The figure in the light smiled, warmth radiating as it raised a hand, palm forward. "As you believe, so shall it be." Your faith opens the gates of healing. With a sudden rush, a shimmering cascade of light engulfed them. Sarah felt a rush of warmth wash over her, filling her with a deep sense of peace and clarity. The doubts that had clouded her mind melted away, replaced by a bright certainty. It was as if each person's pain and sorrow transformed into shimmering threads, weaving through the air, combining into something beautiful and new. "Breathe in the hope, let it fill you," the figure instructed. "You are not alone in your struggles." Each thread represents a burden lifted. As she looked around, every villager was illuminated, their faces shining with radiant joy. Tears of relief rolled down some cheeks, gratitude pouring forth like whispers, floating on the gentle evening breeze. Tom grasped Sarah's shoulder, joy evident in his eyes. "Can this be real? Is the change truly upon us?" The figure's light flickered playfully. "Change is rooted in faith. You must nurture it. But remember, the path may not be as you imagine. So long as you believe and stand together, healing will unfold in unexpected ways." Sarah's heart raced at the thought. Could this healing manifest beyond their understanding? Was there more to the journey than what they anticipated? Suddenly, the air grew dense with palpable energy. The shadows of doubt attempted to return, swirling like thick fog, but the golden light responded with a vigor that sent them reeling back. Even shadows serve a purpose, the figure reminded them. They reveal the light. In moments of fear and uncertainty, let your faith shine brighter than ever. An overpowering sense of community wrapped around Sarah, fortifying her resolve. She caught a glimpse of her neighbor, a frail woman who had lost her husband only months ago, standing tall and visible strength shimmering through her sorrow. "Together, we can rise above," Sarah called out, her voice cutting through the tension like a sword. "We are united under grace." The villagers responded, their strength wrought from their faith igniting their spirits. With courage, they joined hands once more, forming a circle of hope that swelled with energy. In that moment, the figure raised its hands high, releasing a burst of brilliant light that soared above the village, scattering the darkness like freshly fallen snow that sparkles in the sun. "Embrace what comes next," the voice advised, gentle yet firm, "for you stand at the threshold of a new beginning." Are you ready to journey deeper into faith? What awaits is beyond what you know. The lingering question hung in the air, beckoning the group to embrace whatever lay ahead. With hearts now fully opened, they began to chant softly, their voices blending in harmonious reverence, eager to uncover the true meaning of this divine call. What signs might follow? How would they navigate this newfound strength together? The divine mystery loomed, an invitation into a journey fraught with both challenge and promise. As the golden light enveloped the villagers of St. Jude's Hollow, a quiet stillness descended upon them. They stood in awe, heartbeats echoing the promise of what lay ahead. Together, they had crossed a threshold, a sacred moment that bound them in unwavering faith, ready to align their lives with the divine purpose unfolding before them. "Prepare yourselves," the radiant figure whispered, its presence filling them with warmth and tranquility. "Healing begins within." With those words, the light pulsed gently, sending waves of energy through the crowd, revitalizing their spirits, unlocking the door to divine revelation. Sarah's heart raced as she felt the transformative energy course through her veins. She grasped Tom's hand, their palms now warm and tinged with the strength of their shared prayers. Around them, the villagers began to murmur, voices rising in unison, vibrating with hope. "We seek healing. We seek understanding," they declared, as if heralding a new era. Suddenly, the figure gestured toward the trees, and a glowing path emerged, shimmering like a river of stars. "Follow the light," it instructed, the voice resonating with both tender guidance and authority. "Let your faith lead you to those in need beyond your village." One by one, each villager felt compelled to step forward, calling upon the strength that had revitalized their spirits. Guided by the brilliance before them, they walked hand in hand, hearts racing with excitement and purpose. They ventured beyond the familiar confines of St. Jude's Hollow, toward the outskirts where whispers of heartache lingered. Sarah's mind whirled with the faces of those suffering in silence, the widows, the sick, the lonely. "We will bring this light to them," she affirmed, her voice a promise that resonated deep within the group. As they arrived at the first home, a small cottage shrouded in shadows, they knocked lightly. The door creaked open to reveal Jenny, an elderly woman whose eyes mirrored the loneliness of years gone by. Recognition lit her gaze. "Oh, my dear friends," she gasped, trembling. "What brings you here?" With radiant smiles, the villagers stepped inside, the golden glow spilling into Jenny's home. "We come to share the miracle of faith," Sarah spoke, her heart swelling with confidence. "We've been blessed, and now we want to bless you." With that simple declaration, tears cascaded down Jenny's cheeks, and joy transformed her sorrowful expression. Laughter bubbled up as they shared stories, the atmosphere becoming electrified with newfound connection. Each word brought healing. Each embrace radiated warmth, as the light of faith woven between them. Encouraged by Jenny's radiant reaction, they knew their purpose to unveil the miraculous signs they had experienced, to awaken hope in others. The villagers ventured from home to home, illuminating the hearts of the weary. They sang, prayed, and shared meals, but most importantly, they listened. They listened to stories of despair, of fear that had gripped the hearts of so many. With each visit, hearts began to unearth the roots of pain and nurture the seeds of healing. The golden thread of faith woven between them unraveled the silence and darkness that had long bound their community. Sarah felt a shift within her. They weren't just sharing healing. They were building a sanctuary of love and compassion. As night slipped over the horizon, the villagers returned to the chapel, laughter filling the air. There, Father Matthew awaited, his eyes alight with pride. "You have witnessed the power of your faith. Each act of love, a step towards the divine. But let us not forget, the journey is only beginning." The excitement buzzed like fireflies in the night, and one voice rang out, "What next, Father?" "Now, we sustain the miracle," Father Matthew replied, his own heart pulsing with love for them all. "Commit to one another, to prayer, and to share this light with the world beyond. With that commitment, the villagers of St. Jude as Hollow held on to the awakening spirit thriving within them. They organized gatherings, not just for prayer, but to connect, encourage, and spread hope the way light fills a room. Each act blossomed like flowers bidding farewell to the shadows, healing triggered by connection, faith, and love. As dawn broke, painting the sky bright pink and gold, a divine revelation settled in Sarah's heart. She understood deeply it was never just about seeking signs. It was about nurturing the faith within and sharing it with those lost in darkness. Moments turned into weeks, and the renewing presence of love flowed into every crevice of their village. No one emerged unchanged, and each villager emerged more radiant than the sunrise. They became harbingers of hope, carrying the essence of collective faith wherever they went. Yes, Sarah stood with her fellow villagers under the gleaming morning sky. Her heart echoed the powerful truth they were now more than just survivors of an illness. They were champions of faith. They were dedicated to cultivating hope, sowing light, and revealing miracles in the stillness of everyday lives. And so, the journey continued, a vibrant adventure they would share, rooted in unwavering belief and divine connection, united as one body, moving toward the eternal light. Now, dear friend, this moment is yours. You need to step into this light and subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories that could transform your life forever. Leave a like now and feed the algorithm that opens doors for inspiration to flood your spirit. Don't let another moment pass you by comment your reactions and testimonies about this amazing ending, because your voice matters in our community of faith. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation of hope and healing. The power of connection is strong, and only true servants of God understand the importance of supporting our mission. Don't wait even one more second. Let's spread this love together.